So today, this Sunday, is 3 days before we begin the season of Lent. I know that many of you grew up in traditions where Lent was observed with great devotion. And others of you, like me, I never knew anything about Lent until I came to MCC. I know for some of you that is just an ununderstandable thing, that someone might not know about Lent, and yet to some of us, it was a mystery. I must say, though, that observing Lent all these years that I've been part of MCC has been one of the richest additions to my own spiritual life. So regardless of our backgrounds, we will begin observing Lent this Wednesday, and it seems to me that it might be a really good time to be reminded of what Lent is and about what it means when we invite each other to be more serious about Lent. With that in mind, would you pray with me? Holy One, you are here with us in this room, and I want to speak words of gratitude to you for being present. And as we hear from you today through the message, I pray that the words of my mouth and the meditations of all our hearts might rise up and meet you, and that you will be pleased. May it be so in your many names. Amen. Amen. So I grew up in rural Alabama, and my dad was a Southern Baptist minister. And that is until he came out as a gay man and became an MCC minister. But that's a story for another day. But for the sake of this particular story, he was a Southern Baptist minister. And even though we lived in rural Alabama, believe it or not, he was a city church pastor. And what that meant was that every Sunday when it was revival time in the Southern Baptist tradition, they would invite him as the city pastor to come and preach the revival in the country. Well, of course, during the summer I was out of school, my mother worked, and so he would drag me along to all of these country revivals. Now, I want you to understand, this is not just your every week kind of day, weekend, spiritual renewal or something. Oh, no. Oh, no. This was a full week long in the blazing heat in country churches that had no air conditioning. This full week meant that my dad would drag me every day, starting at noon, where we would go and have a huge lunch in someone's home. Then we would go and have a midday service. We'd rest a little while in the afternoon, only then to go to someone else's home and have a big dinner, except we called it supper. And then we would go and have another service at night, and then probably go to a third person's home for dessert and coffee. This was for 7 full days. Now, of course, what was also true is that the primary fare at all of these meals was fried chicken. My dad used to say that his belt was 11 feet around the chicken graveyard. So with all of that context, I want to invite you with me to one of the evening services when we were singing, and the pastor of this church, this particular one, was about 80 years old, Brother Mullins, that's what he was called. That's what we called him. He and my dad were sitting down in the front pew. We were singing along, and Miss Nellie was playing the organ. We were all very happy. It seems like the Spirit's moving. And then all of a sudden, Miss Nellie threw her arms up in the air and started screaming and jumping up and down. Now, Baptists believe in the Holy Spirit, but we thought that was taking it a little too far. And so, everything just got completely silent because no one could quite imagine what was happening to Miss Nellie. So old Brother Mullins gets himself up off the front row and goes over to see what's going on with Miss Nellie. When he gets over there to look, what he sees is that there's a rat running across the organ pedals. And he discovers that that is what's got Miss Nellie all upset. For a moment we thought Miss Nellie was experiencing a revival. But in the end, it was just a rat. that reminded me and all of us that our spiritual lives need to be attended to from time to time. And sometimes it's good to set aside time. And whether you call it Lent or you call it a revival, it still invites us to set aside time to put renewed attention into our spiritual lives. You heard the scripture story today about Jesus, about taking Peter, James, and John up to a mountain. And you heard that right in front of Peter and James and John, Jesus completely changed form. Now this is what transfiguration means, is to change from one form to another. And so right before their eyes, they see that Jesus lights up. The scripture said that you could see the light was so blinding, it says that you could see all the way through Jesus. And so they were able to see pure light, as if his physical body had changed form into a spiritual one. Right there on the mountain, Jesus essentially shows Peter and James and John who he really is. Jesus risks a level of intimacy, don't you think? By allowing his friends to see him from the inside out. And what they saw was his divine nature. What they saw was a spiritual form of this person, Jesus. Now, I think it's easy, especially on Transfiguration Sunday, to get caught up in the divinity of Jesus and forget that you and I also have that same divinity in us. We have a spiritual DNA of which we are the heirs. Scripture is replete with references to us being made in the image of God and being heirs and joint heirs to all that Jesus came to teach us and tell us and show us. So it's easy to sidestep this whole thing, isn't it? Because if we focus on Jesus and we light Jesus up and we see the divinity of Jesus, we can easily sidestep that that same light has been passed on to us. And that means that you and I have a spiritual DNA. And that inside of us, there is a whole other form that is waiting to be lit up. If you'd allow me, I'd like to suggest some ways that we might enter into this exploration of our own spiritual DNA during the season of Lent. As I said earlier, some of us know more about Lent than others. And so I want to try to give you several ways to understand what Lent invites us to do then. Understanding also that different ones of us will choose different ways to be during this season. I just hope that one of them, just one of the ones that I might mention today, will be the one that will light you up. So first I want to suggest that Lent invites us to decide whether our spiritual lives are worth any attention or if it's just a rest. I think it's a simple question of whether we will go through the motions of Lent or actually shine a light on some of the places where we know we want our lives to be different. You have some of those, right? Some places where you know you want your life to be different. So Lent invites us to shine a light there, to light it up, to work with it, to see it, to know it, and own it. So, in the interest of this particular thing, I was trying to listen more carefully to people around me this week. And I started listening and writing down some of the things I heard people say. So I heard, I want my life to have more peace and quiet. It's just too busy. I have too much running around my head. Anybody like that? Yeah. I heard I need to spend more time with my partner. Any of you relate to that? You should. I need to forgive my cousin for what she did 20 years ago. I want to be more generous with my heart. I heard I need to be more open, less shut down when others try to get to know me. These are places, my friends, that deserve our attention. We speak about them because we know somewhere inside us that they need our attention. And so Lent asks us to come and shine a light there in those places and to not be afraid. So I would suggest to you that at the end of Lent, we will each know whether it was just a rat or whether we gave some attention to the places we know need. Another way you might look at it is that it's time to take off your bib and put on your apron. As people with divine DNA, we are always invited to mature our divine nature. In every moment, we're invited to do that. But to do this, at some point, we must decide that we will take off our bib, our baby clothes, and put on an apron. Put on our big people clothes. Put your big panties on. We're encouraged to do that at some point so that we can be growing in our spiritual lives. Think about what bibs are for, would you? Right? They're for drooling. They're for spills and spit up. They're for food that won't stay in your mouth. So when we go through the motions of spirituality and we don't really engage it, then we become adults on the on the outside, who still need bibs on the inside. But then there's this idea of wearing an apron. That means I'm about to roll up my sleeves and cook or bake or find a recipe or clean a closet. That means I'm about to get serious about mixing up something that taps into my spiritual and divine DNA. And I can't wait to see what happens. I can't wait to see what it makes and what it produces when I put my apron on. Last Sunday, Michael gave me this prayer after the sermon from last week. And he thought it fit last week. I just happen to think it also fits this week. So I want to read it to you because it's about the apron. One Sunday morning at a small southern church, the new pastor called on one of his older deacons to lead in the opening prayer. The deacon stood up, bowed his head, and said, "Lord, I hate buttermilk." The pastor opened one eye and wondered, where does it go? The deacon continued, "Lord, I hate lard." That's hard for a southern to say Lord and lard in the same sentence. Lord, I hate lard. Now the pastor was totally perplexed. The deacon continued, "Lord, I ain't too crazy about plain flour either, but after you mix them all up together and bake them in a hot oven, I just love biscuits." Lord, help us to realize when life gets hard, when things come up that we don't like, whenever we don't understand what you are doing, that we need to wait and see what you are making. After you get through mixing and baking, it will probably be something even better than biscuits. Amen. So putting on your apron means that you're willing to work with God in there in the kitchen to see what comes out, what you bake up that is so much better than any of the individual pieces and parts. Lent is a time to consider putting on your apron. Lent can also be this, that you become a participant rather than an observer. A lot of people come to church on Sunday morning and observe other folks. Observe what other people are doing. But Lent invites us to be more active in exercising our divine spiritual muscles. Now here's the thing. I can go to a gym and watch other people groan and grunt and lift weights and build their muscles. And it won't do me one iota of good. It will not strengthen my muscles to watch them lift weights. So the truth is, if I'm serious about that, and I'm not holy, but if I were serious about that, then I need to get to the gym myself 4 very good options for you to do just that, to exercise your spiritual muscles. I'm going to say this to you. If you need to start slow, which is perfectly okay, that'll be better than the people who don't start at all. If you want to start slow, sign up to receive the Lenten affirmations. Commit to start your day with a little bit of a challenge, a little bit of encouragement that will tap your spiritual DNA. Start the day that way. If you want a little bit of a deeper challenge, now get this. I'm going to ask some people to join me for what I'm calling God's guarantee. Where I'm going to ask 20 of you to walk with me every step of the way during Lent and try out tithing if you aren't already. Because here's the thing. In Lent, when you put your apron on, you'll discover that this is not about money. It's about trust. This is a deep and abiding Lenten journey. So I hope 20 of you will find your way to sign up for that and walk with me. If you want to learn more about what it looks like to break down walls, be more vulnerable, let go of guilt and shame, then the book study, Daring Greatly, is a good option. Think about it seriously. They're not on the page just because it looks pretty. They're there to invite you to the gym, to the spiritual gym. And stop observing and begin participating. My last way of giving you a frame for Lent is something I should tell you right now is going to step on some of your toes. All right, so I'm confessing that right up front. I'm owning it that I'm doing it. I still hope you'll listen. Try to hang with me and say. Another way to think about Lent is to say, I'm going to become a true MC seeker instead of a former something else. You hear me? When many of you greet me going out the door on Sundays, you begin to tell me that I used to be a Catholic, or I used to be a Baptist, or I used to be a Pentecostal, or I used to be a Lutheran. And I want to invite you during Lent to start practicing saying, I am an MC seeker. That is no throwaway, my friends, even if you think it might be. Now look, all of our traditions gave us something that is special to us. I've held on to some of mine. One of them told me last Sunday, I sound like a Baptist preacher. And you know what? I had to correct a little bit. I was like, yeah, the style is Baptist, but the theology is not. The theology is something very, very different. You see the difference? So I would invite you to come on all the way and don't just be a form or something, be a present MCC. How do you do that? There's some things that are going to have to shift. So let me just give you some examples. First of all, our theme for Lent is going to be give and take. We're going to be looking at what it means to give up something. Most of you are familiar with that idea, right? During Lent, you give up something, but you don't MCC what we teach. Is that when you give up something, it's for the purpose of taking in something else. It's for the purpose of giving up something to give room for something that you want more in your life. So give and take. It's not just I'm going to give up eating shellfish. There's so much more than that. And that's what it means to be an MCC. The whole thing. Bible study. Reverend Don and Kathy have been teaching a Bible study. Many of you tell me, as former Catholics, well, you know, we didn't really know much about the Bible. Well, you might be the luckiest of all. Because coming from other traditions, we've been beat up with the Bible. Or we've been told a bunch of stuff that may or may not be true. So in MCC, when we talk about Bible study, we're talking about something really different. We're talking about allowing there to be people who, in the room, who see a particular verse or story completely different from one another, and that is perfectly okay. We do not all have to believe the same thing about it. We can still all be blessed with what we see and know. Amen? It is no celebrate Sunday and we don't all believe the same things. That's what it means to be NCC. Also, Ash Wednesday and Good Friday. Now, I know you Catholics. Who haven't yet become NCC, you're just former Catholic. I know that Ash Wednesday and Good Friday were places you were supposed to be in a church. Amen? So, if that was really so important to you, I want you to come and experience it as an NCC. Let's expand our understanding of ashes. Understand what it means to say, I'm here and I am open to what's coming during this season. I'm here and I realize I'm human. And I realize that there's so many ways that the light needs to be shined in me. Good Friday. Come and be here. Be present. Come and learn what that means when you're in NCC. And then there's worship. We talk about having blended worship, which means we take a lot of different things from different traditions and blend them together in our services. But it's not just, I'm going to take a Baptist thing, stick it here. It means I'm going to take something good from other traditions and bring it into our own space and make it our own. Does that make sense? There's a distinction there, right? It's not just pulling it over from the Catholics and putting it here, the Baptists and putting it here, the Lutherans and putting it here, and then we try to do it. It means that we take the richness of those traditions and we make it our own. Those are just a few things that it means to be an MCC or not a former something else. I hope some of you, if not all of you, will agree to work on that with me during Lent, with all of us during Lent. I think it's a challenge, don't you? Because engaging our own DNA, our own divine DNA, is a sacred activity. And it deserves our attention. I'm guessing a lot of you have had your DNA tested through Ancestry.com or some of the others that are available. And those of you who've done it, I bet you found some things in your ancestry that you didn't know about. Maybe even some things that are hard to believe. As many of you know, I'm living with, Kay and I are living with Liz and Charlene Missouri while our house is being made ready to move into. And so Liz had her ancestry done. Now she is quite invested in being an Italian. Her last name is Missouri. She talks like an Italian, she looks like an Italian, she eats like an Italian. So, you know, she must be an Italian. But she did her DNA, you know what came back? She is 4% Italian. 4%. She is just having a breakdown. But it just beautifully illustrates what we've been talking about today. There is so much more in our divine DNA than we have dared to know. This Lent, take the test. Shine the light on the places that you didn't know were there or were afraid to see. God is right in the middle of those places, my friends. God's not off up there waiting on us to get it right. God is right in the middle of those places where we might be afraid to shine light. God is waiting to walk with you, talk with you, sit with you, and lift weights with you, whatever it is. There is this opportunity to be all lit up, to see all the way through to who we really are. So what will you do? That's really the question. As the choir sings, I want you to sit quietly. Be with your